And I sat alone with myself outdoors after skipping some running, all which I had not done for so many years after such prolonged erosion from your typical abuse and narcissistic abuse and, you know, all that is synonymous with soulful decay and mindful decay, and to be very honest, bodily decay. I did skip and I did run, but I also sat with myself alone out in the park. Not even the moon wants to look at me. When all I wanted for just even a second was not to be with father, mother, nor God. I've begged to be heard. I've begged to be listened. I've hurt myself to be heard. I've hurt myself to be seen. All taught on to me for years, you know. But I just wanted to be with my sister. It's very difficult to talk about love when we feel as if half of it is worlds apart from us. And for me, she is that. You know, to live alone and just to call this daily struggle living, just basic societal life living and keeping up with the faces of psychologically regressed individuals, which are most individuals. It's extremely isolating. And you know, I do notice I have it written right there, but I rarely look at it. Look. Wait. I don't know if you can see it backwards, but light is always enough for itself. You know, I didn't plan to that, right? I've had that written for a very long time. And I do aim to share that in all wisdom's and love's way. Light, which is you in your actuality, will always be enough for yourself. Yet there are still times where I branch away from the root of it and don't be enough for myself. And life's hardships, not just the ones during abuse and erosion, but the ones of the aftermaths of it. It's so silent, quite literally. But this reservoir and oceanic synonymity of wisdom and weight of knowledge that I have, I always feel like I have nowhere to share it. Even though I have shared so much of it by embodying it, it is why I am so alone. I don't give in to the cheapest of pleasures. I don't give in to the cheapest of people. It's a life on extreme, yes, but that's a life of truth. That's the life of light, in spite of dark and pain. But still, sometimes I feel so alone, and I know I am all for this. It is a feeling, it is a regression to a homeostasis, I understand. But it would be so nice to have someone who is self understanding of that fact, and just to hold. And my sister, who was only a toddler, was far more beautiful, far more light, far more mature than most adults I have ever met, not by fluke, but by the very light that I aim to protect. And she was that in an abusive home. Now we are separated due to extreme circumstance. And when I am sometimes in the living room, which is so empty, sometimes a room which is so empty, sometimes even the very park, it is full of people, yet it feels so empty. I sit alone because sometimes, I really do mean it, sometimes it would feel nice to give that universal weight of the love that I am or I carry like Atlas and let someone else hold it for once, for a little bit. And my angel is beautiful enough for that. I just hope you can be too. In your moments of isolation or solitude or that shelling up that comes from wanting to have to try again, right? You expand out of your lonely, you expand out of your isolation, you expand out of your what is or what feels like the end, a wall. I don't know what to do anymore, right? Or is this all there is? I don't know. But sometimes life feels very long. It's easy to say it's short, but sometimes life feels very long. And sometimes we just have to weather it. And even if we are not always enough for ourselves, we simply are. There is no good in that, no bad in that. There is only that. It is 12 a.m. and I rarely sleep. I always think of how much of this drought can I give water to? And it feels very alone when I do it so alone. And in this world, in this economy, doing that for free? Yeah, I am insane. I embody what I share. I have embodied, I've endured for it. But this is maybe a talk just to myself, right? I don't know what in the world you can get from it. Maybe my cute smile, I don't know. But it takes profound intelligence, profound love, which is the same thing, to be rid of all these thoughts and ideas that encapsulate us, life, and bring about idleness and aloneness and I wishness. How beautiful it would be if a flower would stop hogging its fragrance in the garden, but that is not new. It's a dull garden we live in. Most of it is in ashes, and most of it has been charred very much so. In some places, the soil can't even bring about any sort of life. Yet, in spite of all my abuse, torture, even being to the point of being in a vegetative or coma-esque state, reteaching myself to read, write, move my tongue, and none of that came with any help. Somehow, in spite of dry soil, without water, even without sun, I breathe. And to simply be, not because I wanted to survive all the time and I fought for it all the time. At times I stopped, at times I struggled and sat alone. Yet I am here, granted not as, handsome and as what you would say. I don't know, I think that's just it. Not as handsome as I once was, but so profoundly and exponentially intelligent, and I never thought I can be. Still, I be. And I would love to practice that with more individuals. Sometimes it all feels so pointless. And oftentimes it feels so pointless. Most don't even know they're in a garden. They don't even know they have a fragrance that can bloom and blossom. They don't even know. Neither do they care. We are a flower, a beautiful thing. And just that thought of my beautiful angel being a flower, so intelligent, so compassionate. I recently talked to her after so long over the phone, and she has always wanted a parrot, and she got one. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna talk about this later. It makes my heart melt. But just these thoughtful joys, they make me feel less alone. And that's it. I don't know if there's some lesson here or somewhere, but I was just going to talk to myself. It has been so extremely hard, so extremely painful the past weeks. But we beat through them.